Yeah, morning everyone. Yeah, that video yesterday, got 70 odd views. That's alright for me, 12 minutes long. Yeah, so I was going to do a story today. It will be a prison story, but I just want that, and it is connected to what I was on about yesterday in a way. So, yeah, but first of all, yeah, like I was telling you about seeing my boy and that. The two girls and the boy, they all have my surname, right? And I was talking to my mum about all this, and a lot of people can't understand this, yeah. Obviously, none of them want to see me, right? They don't want nothing to do with me, obviously, right? But what I don't understand is, why do you want my name, yeah? I mean, I'm not being funny. My boy's got two names, a double-barreled name, but he uses my name. Surely you could just change it. I remember one time my daughter said to me, "Oh, I've got away with loads of shit for having that name and all that, yeah." Because at least my daughter did try and see me. One of them. But yeah, that's what I don't understand. And the youngest, her mum contacted me saying, I want to take your name off the birth certificate and all this stuff because she's not yours, which is what she told me after she was born. Where I was around all through the pregnancy, helping her get a house, all the stuff, all the baby stuff. I was working, and then she has the baby and says it ain't mine when we was going to do the birth certificate. So, but then she does decide to use my name. And then years and years later, says she wants to take it off again. And I sent her a message saying, well, take the name off. You're welcome to. Why don't you all do it? Do you know what I mean? Yeah, you want my name though, don't you? Huh. And the Facebook, yeah. Looking at that, and you lot, all hearts and kisses all over your little each other's sites and that. You don't even know each other in real life. You don't even see each other. And the other one, the brother, her brother, who thinks he's hard, I suppose. Hard, yeah. It's easy to beat up someone or do someone when they're strapped in with a seatbelt into their chair with two kids in the back of the car in baby seats. Yeah. And then make sure you wait till they're got their seatbelt on before you fucking launch your attack with a weapon, mind you. And then you attack them with a weapon. What was it? A stone rolling pin. Straight in the face about 10 times, in the nose and in the face. And then what? Then you phone the old bill. Fucking hell, no wonder you lot hide. Can't be many places left in London that you can go. Anyway, enough of that shit. Yeah, let's get on with the story. Yeah, I am pissed off with it all. Really. So the story, so in connection, yeah, I was going to do this ages ago. That time, so when I was away about 20 years ago, that Old Bailey case, where it didn't even get to trial. It was thrown out. The judge had to drop the case through lack of evidence after spent a year on remand. And that's the thing, when you do remand and you get a community sentence or you get a not guilty, that won't appear on your acro, on your pre-cons and all that, because you got not guilty, you weren't convicted. So there won't be no record of the time you spent in prison, but it will be in the records, in the court records, and it will be in them sort of records, but not in your acro. As far as I know, your acro is just previous convictions. So, yeah, I mean, I've done a lot of prison on remand. I think I've been on remand just as much as what I've done in sentences, and got not guilties or community sentences, for a lot of that. So, yeah. So, why I'm saying that, because this time, I was on remand for a year, unconvicted, and this was 20 years ago after fast track had come in, and I kept saying to him, why am I still here and all that? And even though I knew the case was being dropped beforehand, from people that had told me from outside, and they still kept me there after they were dropped. They realised that their witnesses weren't coming to court, so they knew they didn't have a case, but they still kept me in jail. Didn't tell me that, even though I knew, hoping that I might make a deal with them and plead guilty, you know, for their 7-year sentence. But what they weren't telling me, that would have been 2 strikes, or 3 strikes. That would have been 7 years as an IPP sentence. So yeah, you know, that's what they do. The authorities, they play games and tell you lies and that, you know. But like I say, the 2 witnesses are professional victims. They're professional witnesses. You know, they've been on loads of cases and get paid for it by the police. People don't think that stuff goes on, but it does. So the story, yeah, I was there, and when I was there in 2001, 2002, I think it was, I hadn't been away for, I think it might have been close to 5 years. I was doing okay out there. I've got nicked, and I'll go into the case and what happened about getting nicked. It was another one of those scenarios, yeah, with the helicopters and armed police and all that, yeah, because it was a serious offence. It was GBH Section 18 and aggravated burglary, right? It was going to be attempted murder, but that wasn't it when I got charged. It was just those 2 offences and maybe some other stuff that I had outstanding, I'm not sure. So yeah, gets remanded in custody. So I haven't been away for 5 years, you know, and a lot has changed in the prison system. From not being in there since 1997, I think it was, until 2001, 2, so that's 4 or 5 years. And the difference was, the main difference I noticed was that everyone had tellies now, you know. It was like 50p a week, and you rented the TV off the prison, you know. If you behaved yourself, obviously if you was on basic, they come and take the TV out and all that. And the 50p a week comes out your canteen, you know. But before that, I mean, you did see people with tellies, like who were lifers, you know. Sometimes they had TVs, and you know, people that were on enhanced, some of them had their own tellies as well, you know. A few lifers, you know, they had big screen tellies and all that by that time. But prior to that, the only TVs I'd heard of in prison was in the earlier 90s, was in the mid-90s, was at the Mount, which was a sea cat in Hertfordshire, where that Supergrass was. Roy Garner was there doing his 22-year sentence. He has done a book, that Roy. There is a book about him, that Roy Garner. It's pretty interesting stuff though. But yeah, he was a Supergrass, wasn't he, that Roy Garner? So back to the story, yeah, high down. So everything's changed. I haven't been away for a few years, you know. And that time, I was in a bad way. Outside, I've been doing shitloads of crack and shitloads of heroin, really a lot, and the benzos. I wasn't on a methadone prescription out there. I was just on the street drugs, on the illegal drugs, and the benzo prescription. So when I went in there, the withdrawal was really bad, you know, but they don't always put you down at hospital. They didn't then. I was on the wing waiting, you know, for medication in the morning, they said. It'd be Subutex. But when I got onto the wing, by the time it got to bang up, I didn't manage to get any gear off anyone. I was really sick, and I had to get on the buzzer and call the screw and say, Gav, I can't fucking deal with it. I feel like I'm going to die or something. You know, the withdrawal was that bad. And they put me down in the hospital. I mean, it weren't just heroin withdrawal, it was crack psychosis as well. You know, crack psychosis is a weird one. And obviously benzodiazepine withdrawal, you know, so I'm in the cell, you know, and a terrible, terrible night. And at one stage I didn't know whether I was asleep or awake, you know, because you don't really sleep at all, really, when you're having strong opiate withdrawal. Or if you do, it would be at the start and it's very light, and after that you might get some sleep, but it's like just for a few seconds, you know, and you have these really mad, vivid dreams, usually about the drugs themselves. You have these mad dreams, you know. I'm sure a lot of you will know all about that, but yeah. So it gets through the night, you know, and you know, and then see the doctor, psychiatrist in the morning, and it's back on the wing, you know. I think I've mentioned this before. and then you do the Subutex reduction. So prior to this, in the 1990s, and this is high down, by the way, in Sutton, all the prisons were full of heroin and all that, you know, a lot of heroin coming in on visits. But at that time, I was noticing a lot of people were concentrating on Subutex, you know, like either buying it off other cons in there that were selling their meds, you know, or getting some bought in, you know, because obviously it lasts for 24 hours, so that would have been the reason people wanted that, you know. I think I was seeing yesterday on Ray Hill's thing about the methadone, you know, with all the spitbacks, they used to call it. Yeah, that goes on all the time in there. And what happens is it becomes supervised. So people, sometimes they do it on the wing, you know, but when they first started doing it there, in prisons, you used to go down the healthcare centre or to the medical hatch, yeah, and they'd give you your methadone, you know, in one of them little plastic measures, you know, and you drink it in front of them, you know, but where it was busy and it'd be in the morning, you know, and you know what it's like in there, all the noise, people would, you know, get the little cup, drink it and spit it back into the cup of tea they'd walked down with or whatever, you know, and sell it. Yeah, and I'm not going to lie, when I've done that, bought that off people, and yeah, afterwards I used to think, God, they could have something, you know, I've just drunk methadone that's come out of someone else's mouth, and then I'd have to look at it as, yeah, but would it not be the same as just kissing a bird? Well, or kissing the geezer, but not that you do that, but you know what I mean. So I convinced myself that it was all right. But, you know, you've got to be very careful doing stuff like that. Especially, you know, a lot of drug addicts have got some serious diseases that you can catch. Yeah, hang on, I've got to pause this for a sec because I've got a message.